Hi there. In this video we'll be taking a look at this ASUS 4G-AC86U LTE capable router. First thing, let's get rid of this foil on it because it's quite reflective and annoying and not easy to rip, it seems. And my first impression about this router is, man, it's expensive. It's really expensive, but then again, I searched a lot on the interwebs, and this one seems to be the single most appraised router in terms of, I don't know, signal all around, overall emitting power, reception for LTE. It's a really good all around powerful router, obviously gigabit router. And it has the SIM slot built in, so yeah. And in my area, the internet from my main internet provider drops a lot, so I needed something that was able to go to 4G as a backup for the times that my main network gets down. This is all that it supports. Obviously it has 5 GHz wireless. We'll see how good the signal on that is, because on my current Tenda, quite a nice Tenda, I will link it in the description, this is quite weak, so I'm not using it at all. We'll see on this one if it emits a bit stronger, who knows. The input 12 volt 3 amp, so it draws a little bit of power. These are the ports, so we have 1 gigabit in, 4 LAN outs, basically, nano SIM card slot. And these are the mobile networks that it can support. Antennas, 2 detachable external ones, 1 camera focus, 1 detachable external Wi-Fi, and also 3 other internal Wi-Fi's antennas. So it has 4 Wi-Fi antennas and 2 LTE. That sounds good. And these are the protection encryption protocols that it can support. Obviously, yes, you could get this information online. So we have the router, the tray, network cable, power adapter, quick start, and warranty. And we can control it via an app, it seems. The box itself, it's rather heavy. Let's see if you want this info. Anything else? Yeah, this will be seen a bit later. What they brag about. The speed of the LTE. We'll see how much we get in this area. Good security and faster speed. I'm not, my current Tenda in terms of speed was more than enough, but again I needed something that was capable of going to a secondary network. Man, this box was really snug in there. So we have a box in a box. I haven't seen that in a while in routers. Off camera I tried to take somehow a look inside and see what makes it this heavy. I can somehow spot something really big right in the middle in the front. That's what she said. But presumably some kind of heat sink, or not really sure. It's really hard, weirdly enough, to see through this. I was expecting to be able to see something, but not really. Through this, quite impossible to see. But anyway, vents at the back, at the top, at the bottom. The plastic itself, for this price point, seems flimsy. So Doesn't feel like an expensive product when you are touching it, but it's a router, so basically it needs to work well, not really feel expensive. It does have rubber feet, these two bands right here, this right here, plus this here, so it should stay in position where you put it. It's basically non-wall mountable, so there's that. Where you put it down, there it will stay. Yeah, what else? Input, power switch, USB 2.0, one port and LAN ports, and reset if you need it, hopefully never. And in here we can put in the SIM card. It has a rubber seal on it, and it seems to have the same type of tray as mobile phones, which is basically on the box. So the same thingy. Maybe it's even from an ASUS mobile phone. They didn't make a new product for nothing. If you need this code right here, maybe it helps you get the tray, who knows. Anyway, there's that. We'll be putting in the SIM quite soon. Place for 3 antennas, and they are different. On the edges they have a hole, and this has a pin. So that makes me think that the 3 antennas are not identical. The one with the hole right there, that one goes in here. Presumably that's the one external for Wi-Fi, and again 3 Wi-Fi internal ones. And at the ends we should have the 2 LTE antennas. Okay, and it's tight enough, and at this point you can play around with the antenna any way you want. Let me attach the other 2 off camera and be back. This is the SIM tray. I'm 99% sure this is from some ASUS phone. And the antennas, you can see the one in the middle for Wi-Fi has this red line, so even if you try you cannot mix them up. Now let me put the SIM here and basically just plug it in here exactly like you would do in a camera. Help me a little bit, or my fingers are actually the problem. Slide it in there exactly as you would do in a mobile phone. And if you are wondering why I actually went and bought this particular model and not the how is it, AC86U, this one has double the amount of memory, the RAM, not the storage, the RAM is what we want, than the other one. So basically many people were saying that that particular model has moments when it's really slow, and personally I think that that is due to the fact that it doesn't have enough memory. So that made me go with this. Make sure you have the alignment correct. Start to slide it in there. And it's all the way in. And now we are closed, and basically we are kind of ready to power up this whole thing. VIP warranty, same thing, and safety notices, whatnot. Quick start guide. This is quick. This is a whole book, and they managed to somehow bend it anyway. Cable, expecting it to be a good quality cable, because it honestly should be at this price point. It doesn't seem nice at all. Doesn't feel nice, at least. If you want the codes from it, I think it's the same one. Yeah, same one on both sides. Doesn't feel at all nice. It's really stiff and okay, anyway, hopefully it does the job. Probably better than my current one that I'm using. Let's put this aside. Power brick, yikes. Hopefully we have the correct plugin here. So we push this in here and rotate it and it locks. So it's locked in place and it should be making contact. This should be going in the router itself. And next I'm going to presumably install the app by scanning. Where's the code? Where's the code? This code right here. So if you need it, here it is. You can scan it. I hope you can. Should be straight enough for you to scan, I think. Let's go. Just wanted to add, if you ever want to change this, press in here, rotate it, it unlocks, and you can put in the UK style. What else? And this provide the contact because they are on this piece of plastic and it lets them go down. So put it in there, but I want to wipe this because I put my greasy finger on it. If you ever need the info for the adapter, there is the model number right up there. Plugged in and ready to go. But first I'm going to show you the manual as I always do. Feel free to pause at any moment if you don't have yours anymore. They show us how to orient the antennas at 45 degrees, something like that. The LTE ones. How to put the SIM in, we already put that in. And a few ways that you can configure it. I think I'm going to try with the app, I guess. What this means on the LEDs themselves for the mobile connection. And yeah, that's about it. Other languages there. So it is a quick start guide, just in many languages. Let me power this thing on and see if I can connect to it by scanning that code and installing the app. Scan the code on the box. It brought me to this app and install it. Let's open the app. Accept, as always. And I think I need an account. Great. I don't want to use my existing account, so go to ASUS ID and sign up. And I will create a new account. At this point I'm connected to the router. Set up a new router. I'm guessing this is it. Yeah, I guess it's okay. ASUS 68. I think I bought an 86. What's up with that? I think I'm going to enable camera and scan. So I'm going to scan my code on my particular router now. I scanned the code on the back of the router and now it should be connecting to it. As you can see, I got an error. And what this makes me think, I'm looking at the front of the router now and I don't see the icon that it has an internet connection. And it makes me think that my Tenda router did not allow the ASUS to connect. Why that would happen, I do not know. Doesn't really make sense, but maybe it's sensing that I will be replacing it. So maybe I will do a manual connection from Wi-Fi settings and I will just input the password from the back of this router. And I'm connected to it. Let's get back. Hey, we were in the app. Then get back. Connected. So select your router to set up, I guess. Now we need to input the initial username and password, and they are universal. So username admin, password admin. This need to be changed, obviously. Change the account info. Well, hi there. Remote connection. Nah, not for the moment. Blah, 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 blah. Let me just read it. Yeah, I guess. Agree. So, what are we doing now? I was expecting some kind of something. Okay, at this point, my only guess is I'm going to settings and quick internet setup. But I was hoping this would appear by itself, but it doesn't. Get started. What? Hey, but already did this. I'm connecting to it. What? I was here already. ASUS? Am I missing something, or you are not quite clear in your setup? Man, I was connected. What? Just did a speed test, and it seems I'm actually already connected with my phone and getting internet from this router. But on the front of it, it doesn't show that it has internet connections. Oh, I don't know, man. This is a bit weird. As in all my older routers, I was expecting this thing to light up somehow. But no. And this one is not yet connected. I need to do some settings, presumably, for 3G and 4G network. You know what's weird at this point? If I go into devices, it already has a list of old devices. So, did I get a refurbished router? Paid for new and got refurbished? This is a bit weird, honestly. But just to be sure, I will go to system settings and give it a factory default. So I'm sure that everything is back to zero. I don't think it's refurbished. I haven't seen marks on it or something like that, but just to be sure. Now, this is interesting. After the reset, the devices have disappeared and only the one being connected now at the moment stays here. So did I actually get a refurbished unit, or maybe just a refurbished or repaired motherboard inside of the unit? It seemed sealed, but I had a feeling the bag for the part of the charger that plugs into the socket was ripped open. Maybe you can see that in the video. So it was already open somehow, but I thought, nah, couldn't be a refurbished. Why would it be? Well, now seeing this, and this is quite annoying, honestly. No, it's the same thing. Let me just set up this whole thing by myself and see what I get. It's a bit weird. I was expecting quick internet setup, but it literally doesn't basically do anything. I already tried to go through it. Okay, couldn't really manage to set it up properly from the app on my phone, so I'm just going to use that in the future for, I don't know, keeping an eye on things. So I connected the cable to a LAN port in the back, LAN port number 1, but I don't think it matters, into my laptop, and entered, where is it? This. And then logged in with my credentials, which theoretically in a new router where you haven't changed them yet are admin and password also admin. And now I'm going to use the quick internet setup to do all of the settings. And yes, here it tells me to change. Yeah, it's kind of really weird colors ASUS decided to use here, all kinds of grays. It changed, Jesus, cannot talk today. It asks for names for my network and presumably for internet setup, maybe or did it just go to this and skipped 1 and 2? Who knows? I need to tinker with it. It's a bit more involved than I thought, honestly. Weird. Now we are making some progress. I needed to come into the one connection myself and then into the mobile network connection, and at least in Romania for Orange I have a YOXO SIM card, really cheap internet. This is the setting that I needed to change. Rest on auto. What else did I change? This I put to manual and put net in here. Deleted the dial number that it was getting from auto. Then applied the settings and connected with full signal. So on my phone I don't get full signal here. So the antennas on this thing are freaking awesome. Now let's do, who knows, a speed test. Yeah, why not? I'm connected to the 5 GHz network of this router. Let's see what we get in here. Up. Come on, you can do better, you can do better. I know you can. Yeah, not that great for internet speed, but hey, at least when the main gigabit network will drop, I'm not stranded. I still have half decent internet. Maybe I will get faster net than this with a few settings, but we'll see in the future. Of course, I will tell you until the end of the video. While playing around with things, I got this little guy right here, and it seems it's a new firmware. Let's do this. And all is happening to the 4G network, I think. Actually, for sure, because I don't have anything else plugged that could give it internet. Now, if I get one of those nice power outages that actually triggered me into buying this thing, this would be fun. Just wanted to add something about this router. I just powered it on from scratch and it takes about 2.5-3 minutes maximum to boot up. So I've read online somewhere saying 10 minutes or something like that. Either there's had some weirdness going on or it was just exaggerating. Yes, it's not instant. Maybe some cheap routers, weaker ones, boot up faster because they don't have so many bells and whistles in 1 minute, 1.5, 2 minutes, whatever, but this isn't far behind. Okay, and it's time for some angry rant because this is not possible anymore. This is beyond annoying. So I've put the router in the place of my old router, and literally I have way less signal power than with that old and cheap Tenda with only 2 antennas. So either Tenda doesn't care about, I don't know, some standards and they emit way too strong, which in my case is perfect because that's what I need. I don't want 100 routers in a single house. Or the ASUS is nowhere near as powerful as they make it seem. So I literally cannot stand this anymore. It's like every single company out there is searching only for speed, but that speed is valid only if you are 1 meter away from that damn router, because if you are, I don't know, behind a wall from the router, that drops to basically nothing. And again, a cheap Tenda is able to do it. The ZTE modem that also has a Wi-Fi router built in is able to do it. And those are cheap units. They're almost as cheap as they get. And you make me pay 300 euros for a damn router that basically is almost useless unless it's in the same room with you. And on the 5 GHz network, you can consider it doesn't exist. If it's not exactly near you, it's like it's not there. Okay, it might be awesome for wood houses with really thin plywood walls or who knows what. But if you have a house with some cement and bricks, you can forget it. This router from ASUS is absolutely useless. So basically at this point, for me, it will be a sort of, I don't know, how can I say? It's gonna be basically a modem, a 4G modem that handles switching between two networks, because I need to also use my old Tenda. So instead of from two Wi-Fi routers going to a single really powerful one to cover the whole house, I'm basically having to use three of them now. How is this normal? How can this be normal? It's a joke. It's honestly a joke. So no, for me at this point, yeah, I'm going to continue making the video just to see if in case of a power outage it does what I needed to, and fall back to the 4G network and I still have internet access in the house. But basically I'm going to shut off its Wi-Fi antennas because they are 100% useless. I don't know, I might even be returning this thing. Jesus, I don't know. It's a joke. Honestly, it's a joke. Okay, and if you think I'm exaggerating, this is the new router. You can see I put its name WLAN-B exactly as the old Tenda. I wanted all my devices to connect to it directly, use even the same password. And now I'm at the same distance, about 6 meters, so this is correct. Maybe they are 7, 8, but around here anyway, 6 meters from both this and this. And look at the signal from this. And this I'm not even talking about because this is further away than these two for sure. So Tenda is king in signal, ZTE comes second, ASUS, it's a piece of crap. Let's go to 5 GHz and it's gonna be... Are you there? It's literally not being seen. So this is a joke. This router is a joke in terms of signal. I'm thinking my possibilities. The only good thing about it is the 4G, but I think there are way cheaper routers that can handle being a 4G modem. But then I needed to be also able to handle gigabit network for my main ISP. And it dropped off. So really? Jesus, ASUS, this is a joke for real houses with brick and mortar and concrete and steel reinforcements. It's really a joke. And Tenda can handle it, and ZTE can handle it, but you cannot at all. No, this is unacceptable. With the old router in my workspace I was getting, I don't know, 30, 50 megs, and with this you can see what I'm getting. And I'm on the 2.4 gigahertz, because on the 5 gigahertz I don't even see the network. So this router is, in terms of signal, it's a joke, and it's set to transmit at maximum power, so don't be fooled that I didn't check that. So basically it's a really expensive 4G modem with the capability to switch between two networks. So let me search really hard these days for something way cheaper, even if it's slower on the 4G, because for me that's just a backup. But it needs to be gigabit on the main network at least, so yeah. And it also needs to have at least 4 LAN ports. Ugh. Okay, so I'm on the living room computer that's connected directly through a network cable to the ASUS router. And I disconnected the main network, and now we are on mobile broadband, and I just did a test. Come on. So this is what we get in my area on the 4G network, which is quite decent. So it is doing the proper thing, and then I will go and connect the main network and see if it fails back to it. But yeah, it's much too expensive to only use it for this. Doesn't make sense. So I'm trying to find a cheaper one that can do this. Switch between these two, even if this will be slower, but this needs to be at least gigabit. And again, to have 4 ports. Ah, Jesus. Yep, so I connected again the main network and it went straight to it. So this part of the router is awesome. This is what I need, but the rest of it, ugh. Already searching for routers, but it seems it's not that easy to find one. And yeah, I did a speed test on the wired part of it and it's performing quite well, so at least that is good, but it's damn expensive for only using it like this. And daughter wants to be in the picture. Okay, so I've been using this router for a good while at this point, and it's great. Apart from the wireless signal power, which is extremely bad, up to the point that I'm not using its built-in wireless capabilities. I'm using my old Tenda as an access point. So all the routing part is being done by this ASUS, and the Tenda, it's like an antenna. I don't know how to put it more simple than that. It's basically just connecting everything else to the ASUS. It's or ASUS anyway, doesn't matter. It's quite simple, and then they cover the whole house. But if this thing you buy it and you hope to cover a whole house, maybe in a one floor with really thin walls, maybe you are lucky, but if there are two levels to the house, goodbye covering it all with this, with at least decent speeds. So yeah, I will link the Tenda in the description below to see exactly what model I have, and they work perfectly together. And yes, it actually switches perfectly from my standard provider to 4G when I need it, and I will show you the settings in a moment. So these are basically my settings in Dual 1. It's enabled. This is the first one, the wired, mobile second one, as secondary, failover with failback, hot standby, I have the second one always, and these are the settings as you can see them here. It switches to, when the first one fails, it switches to the second one decently quick. I think it's less than a minute. I never timed it, but it's quick, so it's quite quick, and I set it in such a way that it will not always try to find the main internet provider and always continually check quickly if it's back online, because sometimes it gets back online and fails again. So I don't want to risk that. If I stay on mobile for an hour, I have way more than enough data on mobile to not have issues, and the speed is decent enough to not have issues also. So yeah, that's great. And these are my settings. I'm pinging Bing, and some addresses right here. I think I got them when I selected this host name. It's not anything special. It's just from the help of this particular model. What I did here, only this 30 to 99. It's what I did myself. The weird thing is that sometimes when it tries to go back to the main network, when it checks if it's online, it actually disconnects me from the mobile network, mobile broadband, and then it finds, hey, wait, the main network is still not online, so I need to go back to mobile broadband. So I have a small gap without internet. I think that happens for a few seconds after half an hour, something like that, with my settings. I will maybe in the future try to contact ASUS and see why this is happening, but yeah, it's not a big problem in my book. And yeah, that's about it. Good router, but you need something else to spread the Wi-Fi through your house. This will not do it. I'm not sure why. Maybe they are trying to sell some access points or extenders or who knows what. I don't really care at this moment. And about the boot speed, I don't care because I have this set up on a UPS. And yeah, I kind of don't care if I just get a short blip in the power line. This will not go down, and it doesn't block, so it doesn't freeze by itself, so I don't need to restart it at, I don't know, 2 or 3 days. I think I never restarted it for at least 1 month, and the Tenda also. So they are both working in tandem perfectly. So they are two routers are basically making one amazing router. Yeah, that's about it. Hope this video helps you, in which case please give it a like, check out my other videos, and as always, see you in the next one. Bye.